Cybertron Weekly is your central hub for everything Transformers.
Head on! Hey guys, Ultra Maximus back with another Transformers review. Today we're taking a look at another third-party figure, and it's pretty special. It's the Toyworld TW-H04G Grant. This is the Toyworld version of, well, Grand Maximus, which is a repaint of Fortress Maximus. And this was the TFcon 2014 exclusive. Nobody had expected it. It was kind of a debut figure for the Infinitor by Toyworld, which is the Fort Max paint job version. So this is in a different deco, and it was limited to 180 pieces. So thank you very much to Wesley, fellow fan, good friend, and definitely check out his web page or Facebook page down in the link below. He and some buddies have a really nice Transformers page, and he does a customizer of the week. Again, thank you, sir. I really do appreciate this. And yeah, this is definitely pretty cool. I'm really digging this guy on the articulation and the color pattern because I've never had a Grand Maximus, but I really wanted it for something else. So let's go ahead and take a look at the package. And here we have the Grant package. It's very basic. Like I said, this was a debut figure for the Infinitor. This was just kind of something special they threw together. I really do appreciate that. I think that's kind of fun. But the reason that I wanted it was, well, I was interested in it, but I'm wanting to make an Autobot city. So I'm going to combine this guy, Generations Metroplex, Fortress Maximus, and Omega Supreme to make a full Autobot city, which is going to be pretty fun. So, yeah, I mean, this thing is, as you saw in the opening, there's nothing here. It is just a plain box with a sticker on it that says Grant, a very special version for TFcon 2014. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we get. So inside the box, we get this really interesting styrofoam cutout that says Toyworld, and, well, there's nothing special there. But inside that, here we have Grant, and he looks pretty cool out of the start. Let's go ahead and get him out of the package and take a look at the robot. Here we have Grant out of the package, and my first impressions are very, very good. I am digging the sculpt. I'm digging all the detail. The figure feels nice. It feels very sturdy in hand. It doesn't feel cheap at all. And this is only the second Toyworld figure I have owned. I do have the Swamper figure, which was very cool. I was impressed with it. This looks really cool. And the thing that drew me to this figure over the Infinitor figure, I do have a Fortress Maximus, but I've never had a Grand Maximus. So the color pattern was really what kind of got me there, and I'm really, really digging that. So obviously we get the figure. He does come with a Fortress Maximus style gun that's all red plastic. The detail on it is nice. It pretty much looks like the other version that you get with the giant Fortress Maximus. You get the little ramps that are going to clip onto the back of Grant here, which is cool. And then you get the instructions and the stickers and a card. So you get this little card that looks like it's also a sticker, which is interesting. And then there are the stickers to put on Grant. So unlike the Infinitor's painted, this uses stickers, and a lot of people did not like that. They wanted the paint. I don't mind the stickers, and it's interesting. These are different than some other stickers in the fact that you cut these out, and then you rub them on and pull the plastic away. So that's kind of interesting. And then, of course, we have the instruction kit there. So let's go ahead and get the accessories on Grant and see how they look. Alright, so here we have everything on Grant himself, and wow, I do like the figure. I'm not going to put the stickers on it in this video, as that's going to take forever to do, and I may not put them on. I'm not a big sticker fan, so I may just leave them on the sheet. The initial look at this figure is it's a complete 100% scale down of the original G1 block that we got with Fortress Maximus. And that's actually kind of an illusion. I like the homage that they did to the figure, which is a little different with the third-party company. Usually they want to do their own take, their own version, but this is very, very faithful, and I do respect that. I think that's very, very cool, but this is basically taking the old G1 toy and giving it the articulation of today's toy. And when I say that, and it's so well hidden, the Headmaster unit here can turn its head, which is pretty awesome. The wings do fold up so that you can get some very nice articulation. You've got a double hinged joint on the elbow there, which is really nice. The thing that we don't get is a ratchet, a very stiff ratchet, for the arm to go out there, which is very, very nice. We have articulated hands that do open. They've got a knuckle pin that open up, which is very, very cool. He does have waist swivel. That's never been seen in a Fortress Maximus figure, which is very nice. He's got a swivel there at the thigh. Let me spin this back around. It does have a hip joint there that can move up and down, and it does go in and out this way. He's got his very ratchety knee joint, which is nice. His foot does go down like that, and there is some ankle pivot. That's for Shartimus Prime. So it does have some ankle pivot there, which is mostly for transformation, but it does exist, and that is very, very cool. So there's some things that I wanted to show off with the Headmaster unit itself. So let's go ahead and pull that off really quick. Here is the little Headmaster, if I can get him to focus. Focus. Ta-da! It is sculpted really, really nice. I am digging that. I think they did a good job with it. Of course, he's pretty much got the little body wrapped up there, which, I mean, it is what it is. So this component, very cool stuff, because if we pull this down, there is a little spot that homages the original Headmaster figures. So when you do put the Headmaster unit in, bink, the little stats pop out, which is really nice, and they rotate with the head. I thought that was kind of interesting. You can interchange this Headmaster unit, or put different Headmaster units onto this figure. There are a couple other reviewers that have done it. I don't have any Headmaster units. Oh, I do have a couple of them. Let me grab them and take a look. Alright, so I found a couple Headmaster units from my Fans Project figures, and let me kind of show you some of the interconnectivity. So here we have Code's head. I'm just going to snap onto there, and it will fit. Now, the other figures are not going to trigger the little stats because it needs this kind of little tooth gimmick up under the chin there to get those to work, but that's okay. And, you know, it does work, which is very, very nice. Just to switch it out, here is quadruple use Headmaster unit. Actually, that doesn't look too terribly bad there. I kind of like that. They're a little bit smaller than the Grant head, but they do work. I know that Brainstorms will work. He's in the other room. I don't have him with me, and I don't know where my Swamper figure is. I'm presuming the Swamper figure will fit on there as well. Definitely cool stuff. So another really cool gimmick that this figure has with the little Headmaster units are actually on the shoulders here. Both shoulders can raise up, and one is solid plastic, the other's kind of a translucent blue. But there are these little seats inside that is really cool. Let's see if we can get some of these little Headmasters to sit in there. Yep. Very cool. Very nice. I am digging that. Yeah, so that is pretty awesome. He can take along some little buddies. I really do like that. I think that's a nice little gimmick. And they fold right down over him. That is impressive. So another cool feature about this toy is it does have all the little guns that can come out blazing for Grant here. Definitely cool. It's got these tiny little forearm guns, the barrel guns, everything. The only thing it doesn't have are the knuckle guns, which is not a deal breaker for me. The fact that they added all those into the toy, plus all the articulation, is very cool. So just kind of a close-up shot here. Definitely cool. Loving all the guns flaring out. That's how I display my Fortress Maximus on the shelf. Really, really digging it. Really nice, really cool. I am liking the figure. I like the paint scheme. I like the red, this kind of metallic green. I don't know how well that shows up on the camera, but it's got kind of a metallic green. We've got the dark gray, the light gray. There are some translucents on here. Definitely cool, definitely fun. I am really digging this toy for sure. Alright, so let's take a look at Grant's Headmaster unit itself. Just kind of a close-up here. It's very blandly painted, unfortunately, but I mean, it is sculpted well. I do like it. There are stickers that go on him, but really not enough to change how bland he looks. He does have a great big head over here just hanging off the back, which I don't mind that. A lot of the old G1 figures were like that. Transforming him is very simple. You just basically put his arms straight down, you spin the legs around, and then you're going to wrap them up here like so, and then you're going to clamp the legs together to get them to stick. And yeah, so there he is in his Headmaster unit. The one thing I will say, the ball joints on the legs do feel a little loose. They don't feel like they're going to come off, but they're not as secure as the other joints on the Grant figure, which is a little unfortunate. Now, one of the cool things, he does have elbow articulation, which we don't see in a lot of the Headmaster pieces, and that is a very nice little additive. For size comparison, here we have Grant next to a deluxe figure. This is the Takara Legends RC. Here's Toyworld's Grant next to the Evasion Mode Optimus Prime Voyager figure with the DX9 armor upgrade. Here's Grant next to Unique Toys Mania King, aka not Galvatron. Here's Grant next to the armored up Baymax from Disney's Big Hero 6. Here he is next to Fans Projects Code. Here he is next to the Masterpiece Prowl with the Dr. Wu Gatlin upgrade kit. And finally, here he is next to the Year of the Goat Masterpiece Platinum Edition Soundwave. So as you can see, Grant is not that big of a figure, but he's also not very small either. It's a pretty good sized figure, and well, you know, it's a nice additive for the shelf, I think. Now, Grant actually has 3 alternate modes, which is pretty cool. We've got the standard city mode, we've got the battle station mode, and there's an alternate city mode, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. As I was going through transformation, one of the really key features on the figure that I forgot to mention are the hands. Because these are actually attached, you know, like the G1 figure that just kind of pop on and off. They actually fold up into the forearms of the figure to hide away, which is another great improvement over the original G1 toy. So here we have Grant in his battle station mode, and it is what it is. It's pretty much what we got on the original figure, just on a smaller scale. I never cared for this mode too much, but they did use it a lot in the Headmaster's cartoon. Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting additives that they've done to this mode, which is kind of cool. I'm going to move the little Headmaster unit out of the way here. One thing, down here on the hips, I'm going to kind of pick this up. There's a latch that folds off of it, and click that out. As you can see, there's a piece there that you kind of clamp into place that helps stabilize the legs so they don't flop around. But, I mean, Is it really necessary? Because this thing is so stiff, it just doesn't seem like it needs it, but it was nice that they added that. The other thing is he's got these little wheels underneath, back here and up here, that allow it to quote-unquote roll around. My wheels are relatively stiff and they don't roll too terribly much. The other issue that I've got with this particular figure, let me take this out so we can see it, is up here on the head mount. Now, it's supposed to clamp down into those little holes. There's a couple pegs, and it's supposed to clamp down there. However, it doesn't really want to fit. I'm going to have to do some shaving or something on these holes to get the pegs to go in. Otherwise, I feel like it's going to break. The other issue I've got is in the cockpit here. If you notice, mine is not quite closed all the way. There is a tiny little peg, as you can see right there, that's supposed to clamp in and close. Now, that is so small and so fragile, it feels like it's going to break off. And I think some of the other reviewers have said it has. And again, another situation in quality control where this hole just isn't large enough to fit the peg. Which is a bit unfortunate. So I'm going to have to do some work there to get that to sit proper for me. It doesn't affect it too terribly much, but it doesn't fit 100%. Now, you can put your little Headmaster unit in there and close it down just like the original toy, and that's pretty cool. But the detail on it, very cool. Something I didn't notice initially. It's even got the little twister piece there that you, in the original figure, use it to move the elevator up and down, of course. This obviously does not have that, but definitely cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the city mode. And here we have Grant in the city mode, and it's a tiny version of the Fortress Maximus city mode. So let me get the Headmaster out of the way. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It looks pretty much the same. It is missing some key features. Obviously, you can lift this up, but there's nowhere for a little car to go into. Because, well, they don't have that option anymore. These lift the wrong way, but you can still stand figures in there, I suppose. But, you know, it is what it is. It does have the little car gimmick where you can slide the little car out, but it's very, very friction-based, and you can put a little Q figure there, and he rolls down, which is kind of cool. I like that. Let's see, what else? Other than that, there is no cage to hold the Decepticons. It's just kind of a step case to go up there. And oh my goodness, do not trim your nails before you transform this, because you're not going to get this cage door open, or are you going to get this ramp, this blue ramp here, to go up. Wow, yeah, those were kind of in there. And then we've got a component unit here. It obviously does not have the elevator inside of it, but I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, pretty cool stuff. I like it. Kind of a close-up real fast. I mean, it's pretty much the same city mode that we're used to, just on a smaller scale, which is much appreciative. So let's go ahead and take a look at the alternate base mode and see what we think about that. And finally, here we have the alternate base mode, and there's a lot of people hating on this. They don't like this. I actually do. It's a flatter kind of station versus what we've gotten in the past. You know, I like it. It is an official mode per the instructions, and this is probably how I'm going to put it into my Autobot City when I assemble it, because it does not look like the Fortress Maximus City mode. So that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. And, I mean, it's not too terribly bad. It's basically the city mode with the legs folded down and forward, and then if you actually come and look at it, there are two little parts here that guide these panels when they come in to lock into place like that, which is very, very cool. I appreciate that. I think it looks pretty good. It's different than what we've seen in the past, and it's something new. So I really appreciate it. And you can also flip these parts up this way if you want to kind of give it a little bit more shielding, like it's preparing for an assault. Definitely cool stuff. I suppose if you wanted to, you could even raise that up as well to kind of give it an even different kind of look. So yeah, I like the mode. I know a lot of people don't, but I'm appreciative of them actually working and doing something a little different with the figure than the standard smaller version of a G1 Fortress Maximus. So is Grant a figure that you want in your Transformers collection? Well, that's a good question. This is not that cheap of a figure. At the time of this recording, TF Source still has the figure available for, I think, $119, which for a third-party figure that is this detailed, this articulated, and just does a great homage to the original figure at a smaller scale, I don't think that's a bad price at all. If you're trying to get a Grand Maximus figure and you just cannot afford the outrageous price for the original piece, this is a good substitute and something that you can play with for sure. Or if you want a Grand Maximus that is a little bit in smaller scale to fit onto your shelf next to your other figures, your other Headmasters, this is something that's not too bad. If you're not digging this paint deco, if you're not digging the stickers, then you might want to take a look at the Infinitor version of this, which I believe is about the same price, but it's got the Fort Max colors and it's a painted figure versus using the stickers, which I know a lot of people have an issue with. Personally, Infinitor versus the Fort Max figure, honestly, if you can afford it, I would say get the G1 Encore from Takara. I know that Big Bad Toy Store still has those in stock, and I think they're on sale for around $250 at the time of this recording, which is a good price. So if you can't quite afford the $250, maybe $100 and something is something that's more to your palate taste. I mean, it is what it is. Now, the one thing I will say about this figure, it does not come with the Master Sword, and of course the little Headmaster does not have a Headmaster unit, so it's not 100% an homage. But for what you get, I'm really digging it. I think it was worth it, and especially for the limited run, me as a collector, I appreciated that. And again, to my friend Wesley, thank you, sir. I really do appreciate it. So there he is, Grant from the TFcon 2014 Toyworld debut figure. If you guys like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. Put a comment down below. What do you think of Grant? Is this something that you like? Do you like the color scheme? Do you prefer Fortress Maximus better? I'd love to hear your comments. Definitely subscribe to my channel, share my videos. I do appreciate it. And as always, look for more videos in the future.